All right, let's dive right in. Today we're taking on one of the most radical and frankly mind-bending works in all of literature, William Blake's Proverbs of Hell. Get ready, because everything you think you know about good, evil, and wisdom is about to get flipped on its head.
So, let's just start with this absolute bombshell of a line. The road of excess leads to the palace of wisdom. Now, at first glance, that sounds like a free pass for just going wild, right? But for William Blake, this was a deeply spiritual truth, and figuring out what he really meant, well, that's the mystery we're going to solve together today.
So that's really the core question, isn't it? How can doing too much, pushing the boundaries, and going against the grain, how can that possibly be the true path to enlightenment? To get the answer, we have to step inside Blake's truly revolutionary mind.
Okay, first things first. When Blake says hell, you need to throw out that whole image of fire and pitchforks. For him, hell wasn't a place of punishment. No, it was the very source of all vital energy, a place of pure, creative, and totally unrestrained life. His proverbs are designed to tear down traditional morality and free our spirits from what he saw as oppressive, life-denying rules.
You see, Blake looked at the major institutions of his time, the church, the government, and he saw them putting the human soul in chains, or manacles, as he called them. They all taught restraint, obedience, restriction. His Proverbs of Hell were his weapon, his set of keys to help us break those chains.
So the very first key to unlocking Blake's code is understanding that he completely rewrites the dictionary. He takes our most basic moral terms, good and evil, and he sees them in a completely new light.
And this table just lays it all out perfectly. Look at this great inversion. What society called good, being quiet, passive, following the rules, Blake saw as restriction. For him, good was being prolific, creative, bursting with life. And what society called evil, our passions or impulses, Blake just called that active energy. So it follows that hell couldn't be a place of punishment. It had to be a fountain of life.
Now, this brings us directly to our second key. If all that energy is a good thing, then it makes sense that acting on that energy is the only real way to gain wisdom. For Blake, direct, hands-on experience is everything. This is one of his most famous and, I think, most powerful proverbs. What he's warning us about here is that when you bottle up your natural desires, they don't just disappear. Oh no, they curdle. They turn toxic inside you, and they breed this kind of spiritual poison he calls pestilence. He literally calls it psychological pestilence. And his analogy is perfect. Think of a person who acts on their desires. They're like a flowing, fresh fountain of life. But someone who represses everything, they become like a cistern of stagnant, standing water. For Blake, even making a mistake through action is 1,000,000 times better than the spiritual death that comes from doing nothing at all. So Blake basically gives us a 3-step guide here. It all starts with embracing your own inner energy, your desires. Step 2 is to act on them, boldly, without fear. Because it's only by traveling that road of direct, messy, lived experience, the road of excess, that you can ever hope to arrive at the palace of wisdom. And all of this leads us to our third and final key to the puzzle. Blake's brilliant use of opposing forces to show us how the world really works. He saw life as this incredible, dynamic tension between different kinds of energy, and he often used animal symbols to make his point. This chart just nails it. On one side, you've got the raw, unrestrained, divine energy of the lion or the tiger. This is that prolific spirit of true genius, which has to follow its own winding, crooked road. On the other side, you have the horse of instruction, tamed, obedient, trained to walk the straight road of the law. And he takes it even further with another proverb. The fox provides for himself, but God provides for the lion. See, the fox is all about cunning intellect, surviving by its wits. But the lion is pure, raw spirit, so in tune with the universe that its needs are just met naturally. Now here's the really crucial part. Blake isn't just saying the lion is good and the horse is bad. Not at all. He's saying you need both. You need that constant tension, that dynamic clash between raw energy and structured reason. Without that push and pull, humanity just grinds to a halt. We become sterile, mechanical, and totally lifeless. So now that we have the 3 keys, redefining our terms, the wisdom of action, and the power of contraries, we can finally see the big picture. We can see what Blake was really building with all of this. It's nothing less than a profound and totally timeless attack on institutional control.
I mean, just let that one sink in. It is absolutely searing. Blake's argument here is that the very systems that claim to create order were actually the root cause of human misery. By labeling our natural energy as sin, law and religion force our impulses into the shadows, and in doing so, they create the very prisons and brothels they claim to condemn.
And that right there is the legacy of Blake's infernal wisdom. It's a powerful celebration of individual freedom. It's a sharp critique of any system that tries to put us in a box. And ultimately, it's an anthem for the power of our own imagination to create a morality based not on rules, but on what he called the sweet delight of the soul.
And this might be his most challenging and his most liberating idea of all. For Blake, imagination isn't just make-believe. He says that everything possible to be believed is an image of truth. It's a radical invitation to trust our own inner vision, our own poetic genius above everything else.
And so we're left with this question. It's the one Blake posed over 200 years ago, and it's just as relevant today. We live in a world that loves straight roads, efficiency, conformity, predictability. Blake's challenge to all of us is to ask, what is your crooked road of genius? And do you have the courage to follow it?